Welcome to Fueled by Death Show. Hey, it's not just a podcast anymore. Get ready, the show's about to begin.
Hello, everybody.
Hola.
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 That's hello in Spanish.
Yes, it is.
We have so much craziness to get to tonight, guys.
So much.
Like, no joke. So we're just going to jump right into it. Welcome to everybody joining the show, whether you're on Facebook, on Twitch, or over on YouTube. We are now live on all three right off the rip. And I am the Incredible Jeff.
I am the mother of content.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And every week we give away something, and we're doing the same thing this week as well. All you got to do is join the show, join the conversation, and drop a comment on any of the platforms that you guys are on, whether it's on Facebook, over on Twitch, or over on YouTube. And one lucky comment will be picked on each platform to win a mug. And as you can see in front of us, I labeled them this time because it's a little confusing. We're giving away our diner mugs and a different diner mug on each platform. So if you're watching on Facebook, it is, I'm not sure how many coffees it takes to be happy, but at the moment it's not 12. That is the one you'll win on Facebook. One lucky comment. One lucky comment on Twitch will win. Maybe swearing will help. And also on YouTube, does it look like I rise and shine? Now, last week was the first time we ever went live on YouTube along with Twitch and Facebook, and we realized at the end that when YouTube Live is over, it takes almost a day for those comments to repopulate, and I can't contact anybody like I can on Twitch and on Facebook. So at the very end of the show, before we sign off, we're going to announce the winner live on the show on YouTube. But on Facebook, it'll be like normal. Your lucky comment will be contacted, and we'll also put it in the main comments as well if you won. And on Twitch, the same thing will happen. And on Twitch, if you guys are new to Twitch, there's a thing called whispers. I try to put it in the comment section on Twitch as well, but a whisper is like a direct message. So if you're on your Twitch stream, make sure you look for your direct message. It looks like a little cartoon bubble. Talk bubble. And that's where, if you win, my message to you will be there for you to get your winner. Make sense? Or is it super confusing? Maybe
we'll
it's super
find
confusing. We'll find out.
We're rolling with it.
We have so much craziness. First and foremost, I got to say, and I'm just going to do it all quick because we love him, Brock Powell.
Hi, Brock.
Do you know who Brock Powell is? He does all the voices on this show. He does all the voices in the world, literally in the world. Everybody's voice is Brock Powell. That's not true.
Jeff's voice is Brock Powell. My voice is Brock Powell.
But follow Brock on all social media at brockfox.com and follow his journey through voice acting. It's amazing. And we love Brock to death. Also on this show, you guys get a special discount code.
Yes, you do. It's named after me. So use the code Mother of Content for 12% off your order from deathwishcoffee.com. Go stock up on some stuff, or you can wait until tomorrow when we're releasing some new stuff.
It's true. It's true. I see on Twitch a comment from Ryan saying your mic is a little pitchy. If you want to just knock it down just a tad. We're working on the crazy thing about simulcasting on 3 separate platforms is also dialing in that sound live. It's crazy. And also, Shannon's sick.
I'm dying.
Yeah. So we're doing our best, guys, but we love your comments.
Sheesh.
Like I said, we have so much craziness to get to. At the very end of the show, we're going to give you the update. We're going to talk about the release of the brand new Valhalla Java Zippo lighter that you guys saw on last week's show. We'll talk more about that. You guys are going to get a brand new product reveal from Death Wish Coffee, something we've been waiting for over a year now. We're really excited to finally release to the world. And
there's more.
You're going to see, for the first time anywhere ever, our Halloween mug for 2019, and it's going to blow your socks off. I'm telling you right now. It's absolutely is incredible. Then, before that, you're going to get a special sneak peek of tomorrow's podcast episode with Barbara Ann Wild. She is a badass.
Yeah.
Yeah. She
love
came
it.
and visited Deathwish HQ. We got to hang out with her for a couple days. It was amazing. And, oh, yeah, she's married to Zach Wild. That's small potatoes, though. Barbara Ann's a badass.
I want potatoes.
Yeah, potatoes. And we're also you're going to meet this week's Death Star of the Week. But before all of that, let's jump into your favorite segment, my favorite segment,
Everyone's favorite segment.
Science.
Science!
Welcome, everybody, to Science this week. This week, some news from NASA. They have a brand new campaign called Ask NASA. Remember that hashtag Ask NASA. They released their first official episode of its new video series actually on September 23rd, highlighting its new Artemis lunar exploration program. And we've talked about Artemis a couple times right here on this very show. Under Artemis, NASA is accelerating its plans to send astronauts to the moon by 2024, establish a sustainable lunar presence, like basically a moon colony, by 4 years later, 2028, and then prepare for our next giant leap, which will be to head to the red planet and put the first human beings on Mars. And that's what's really cool about this. So every single Monday, you're going to want to tune into nasa.gov for their Ask NASA series. And the agency's digital team is putting this all together, and it's really, really awesome. While topics will vary for each episode, most will cover NASA's Moon to Mars exploration plans. The subsequent episodes from this first one will address why we are going back to the moon, how we're going to get there, and who actually is going with us. Future topics will also actually include questions submitted by you. So remember, hashtag Ask NASA. This first episode of Ask NASA, which we're going to replay right here, actually features astronaut Serena Onion Chancellor. And you might remember Serena as the astronaut that we sent coffee to on the International Space Station last year. Serena was part of Expedition 56 and also a good friend of retired astronaut Nicole Stott, who's a friend of this show. And Nicole wanted to send some of her favorite coffee up to her friend in space. And Nicole got me in touch with NASA Food Labs, and we worked together to make a version of Deathwish coffee that we were able to send to the International Space Station last year on a SpaceX rocket. It was absolutely incredible. And it's so cool that Serena is the first person on the brand new Ask NASA series. And here's the replay of that very first episode right here.
Hi, I'm Serena Onion Chancellor. I'm a NASA astronaut, and this is Ask NASA, and I'm ready for your questions. All right, so first question. What is Artemis, or what is the Artemis program? So the Artemis program is our lunar exploration program. We will get to the South Pole of the moon by 2024, landing the first American woman and the next man. Why are we doing this? Well, in order for us to head towards Mars, we need a special place where we can practice, essentially develop robust engineering technologies, figure out how well the human does with long-duration spaceflight, learn how to build habitats, and we do all of this on the moon. Essentially, we practice. It's an engineering battleground, so we can go to Mars. What do you think it'll be like to go on an Artemis flight? Well, let me tell you, this would actually be really cool to go on an Artemis flight because we'd be heading to the moon. Now, what vehicle will we be traveling in? Well, it's actually the Orion vehicle right here. And some of you may recognize this. This is similar to the old Apollo capsules, but it is bigger, it is better. I've actually climbed inside the mock-ups, seen the systems, very modern systems. This is what will be taking us back to the moon. It's going to have the first American woman on the moon.
Serena, did you always want to be an astronaut?
I did, probably since I was 8 years old. My dad finally asked me one day, "Do you want to be an astronaut?" And I said, yes.
What one personal item did you take to space?
Oh, I took multiple personal items. It wasn't just one. Funny enough, I took a back scratcher because you need a back scratcher wherever you go.
What food would you take to the moon?
Oh, easy. Cheeseburger, french fries, every time.
Yum. If you were in a dance-off with an alien, what song would you pick?
That's easy. It'd be Michael Jackson's Billie Jean. We played this song on the launch pad.
What do you miss the most about Earth when you're in space?
I missed feeling the earth. So I miss the wind, I miss the rain, I miss the smell of the earth, the smell of the grass. These are things you just can't imitate on station.
Is it scary being in space?
It's not scary being in space. I mean, it's your home, and it's the size of a 5-bedroom house. It's absolutely huge, and your friends are up there with you, so what's better than that?
Do you know how cool you are? Because we think you're amazing.
You know, as my husband says, I still take out the trash like everyone else.
So you're a doctor. Can you fix this man?
Well, I'm an internist, not a surgeon, but I will try. Ooh, I've got to do this carefully. I don't want to set off. Yes, see, so now Nope, that's it.
Do you have a question for NASA? Send your questions to our experts on Twitter using hashtag AskNASA.
Pretty cool stuff, and it was awesome to hear from Serena. And if you haven't yet bookmarked nasa.gov, make sure you do, because every single Monday they're going to release a brand new episode of Ask NASA, and you can submit your very own questions that might be read by somebody at hashtag AskNASA. And before they had this first episode with Serena, they actually kicked it off with a very famous actor, Brad Pitt. He's part of a brand new movie that just came out called Ad Astra. It looks incredible, all about the future of space exploration. And Brad helped NASA kick off this huge new digital initiative with Ask NASA with some questions for Brad himself. And here's a replay of that.
I watched our astronauts up in the space station on YouTube, how they functioned in zero-G to try to mirror some of that. The Peter Pan production, where you're hanging from wires. So basically what they did with me was just strap me up to the ceiling and then have me spin until I got nauseous to find out where that threshold was, so we wouldn't be doing that on set in a giant spacesuit. Well, it's hard to beat Armstrong's message, so good luck. I don't have any, I can't top that. Huh. I'll settle with the moon right now. I'm older, I don't want to be gone that long. I like my comforts. I'm going moon. If I was going to the moon, I get one item to take with me, I'm taking my music. Period. I think space is so fascinating certainly for cinema, because it's so unknown. There's so much we don't know. It's for one, our universe is ever expanding. It's infinite. I mean, these are concepts already that are beyond our understanding. It's wide open for invention. It's the great unknown, and how will it define us, and how will we define ourselves with it, that makes it so ripe for storytelling. Hey, I've got a few questions for NASA, if I may. First question, I was wondering, when are we going back to the moon? There's not water on the moon, is there? Really? Okay, I heard this rumor. There's something about water being on the moon. Could that possibly be true?
Thanks, Brad. We'll answer these questions and more in our new series, Ask NASA. If you have questions like Brad, use the hashtag AskNASA.
I can't wait to see that movie. I'm such a sucker for, space movies, especially now with all of the cool new CGI technology that we have, and it makes you feel like you actually are in space. Like, some of my favorites in the last few years were Gravity and Interstellar, and this looks like it's on par with those, and I can't wait to watch Ad Astra. And don't forget about Ask NASA. Go on over to NASA on Twitter or on any of their social media and use the hashtag AskNASA. They also have a web form right on nasa.gov. They might not answer your question online on these episodes, but what's cool about NASA, and if you follow at NASA astronauts and all of their different things, they are very vocal on social media and are very interactive with people. So, if you keep asking, your question might get answered someday. That's really, really cool. More news out of space this week. NASA has a huge initiative to understanding asthma in space. And for any of you out there who might suffer from asthma, myself included when I was a kid, it sucks. I had 2 different inhalers for about 10 years of my life, and I used to have to take them. I was in sports and stuff like that. I'd have to take them after playing sports or going out for a run or whatever. And it sucked. I've actually gotten better in life as I've grown older, but I know a lot of people suffer from asthma, and it is something to think about, especially going to other worlds. And once we want to colonize the moon and Mars, these things that we deal with on an everyday basis in our own atmosphere can get that much more compounded and that much more scary when you're in a spacesuit or you're in a completely different atmosphere. So NASA's been studying asthma in space, not only to figure out how it works up there, but also if it can help on Earth. And help may be on the way for millions of people around the world who suffer from asthma. There has been pioneering research in orbit on the International Space Station that is opening up new avenues of study and understanding to see what goes wrong with the inflammation in your airways, which is the reason behind asthma. The results that they're finding have contributed in the development of quick lung tests for the improved quality of life, both on Earth and also on the space station and in space. So, with each lungful of air, our body absorbs oxygen and we exhale waste products. You guys know that. Oxygen in, CO2 out. In people with asthma, the inflammation in the lung adds nitric oxide to the exhaled air, and this inflames all of your passageways. Doctors measure the amount of nitric oxide exhaled by patients to help diagnose inflamed lungs and asthma. Astronauts on the ISS have been breathing for the sake of science and part of an ESA-sponsored research under the scientific lead of Lars Carlson from the Karolinska Institute in Sweden. This research has been ongoing for more than a decade, most recently with the airway monitoring experiments. These experiments analyze the amount of nitric oxide exhaled by astronauts under different conditions in weightlessness and also in the environment of space. Examples like normal pressure, then reduced pressure, like in an airlock, and then also pre and post spacewalks. The astronauts breathe into a specifically developed instrument that measures nitric oxide levels. The purpose of taking reduced measurements in an airlock, normally used to exit a spacecraft for spacewalks, and is set about, let's say, about 30% reduced pressure from normal. This is to simulate conditions in future habitats when we eventually make it to Mars. It's equivalent, to put it in all under perspective, it's equivalent to being about 9,843 feet in an altitude on Earth, which is high. The device that measures nitric oxide is lightweight, easy to use, and very, very accurate. The same instrument is currently used in clinics and hospitals, helping asthmatics and offering a quick and cheap way to diagnose lung problems. This was developed in close collaboration between the medical technology industry and the researchers at the Karolinska Institute. In a similar collaboration with the pharmaceutical industry, the same researchers have developed a nitric oxide donating drug called Super Nitro, with a uniquely selective effect in lung circulation. The drug widens the blood vessels and counteracts life-threatening increases of the local blood pressure. Now, this drug is still being tested, and like I said, it has uniquely selective effects, so it doesn't affect everything the exact same way. So it is a step in the right direction, but it is not the finish line for a drug that can actually help that out. On the moon and on Mars, an astronaut's lungs may become easily irritated or inflamed by dust particles. The reduced gravity on many celestial bodies makes floating dust a very real threat for us, for humans who would ingest that and it would hurt. Understanding the effects of weightlessness and reduced pressure on airway health will help space explorers monitor, diagnose, and treat lung inflammation during spaceflight. This information is key to ensuring the health and safety of astronauts on longer missions beyond Earth's orbit. So it's not all about just let's figure out what type of rocket to build, how to fuel it, and let's shoot it at the moon or Mars. We're doing so many things behind the scenes, both NASA and SpaceX and all of the different space agencies out there that are figuring out every contingency plan. So when we actually have colonies on the moon, on Mars, we're going to know firsthand what we're going to have to deal with. And if people start to have problems like they do on Earth, how we're going to be able to combat those problems. So it's pretty interesting. And finally, I have a video from NASA about how astronauts have been helping to breathe in space for the betterment of people dealing with asthma, both on Earth and as space explorers. Here's that.
The International Space Station is a national orbiting laboratory. Every single day, we are answering big questions about Earth and about space, about where we came from and about where we're going. One category of those experiments are human research, experiments on our human body, how we react in microgravity. One of the recent ones that I've been a part of is called airway monitoring, and this is looking at airway inflammation up in space. So when we're breathing the air, you know, the small particles in the air, they don't just fall to the ground like dust on the ground. So we tend to inhale more fine particles than we would on Earth. And so we're looking at our response, our body's response to that by measuring nitric oxide exhalations as an indicator for airway inflammation. And so understanding, you know, how clean does our air need to be? How does our body react to the air? When we talk about going back to the moon, you know, a lot of people are aware that the moon dust is a very, very fine particle. It's almost like a powdered sugar fine particle. And if that's in the air and we're breathing that for months on end, if we're doing, you know, extended stays on the lunar surface, you know, we need to understand kind of how that affects the human body.
Subscribe for more space.
Super cool stuff this week from NASA. I definitely encourage you guys, like I said in that segment, to bookmark nasa.gov because you can always find out all that new information. It's really, really rad.
And hear from Brad Pitt, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, we technically, because of NASA, had Brad Pitt on our show. So there we go.
Say that.
We
Put
can
it on
say
your
that.
resume, Jeff.
Yeah. I do want to mention, if you guys are just joining the show, welcome. If you're watching us on Facebook or on Twitch or over on YouTube, you'll all have a chance to win a mug, as you can see in front of us. This is the Facebook mug. This is the YouTube mug, the Twitch mug. The Facebook mug is all about how many coffees it takes to be happy. The YouTube mug is which one? The Rise and Shine mug, and the Twitch mug is maybe swearing will help. One lucky
Always
comment
helps.
on all those platforms will be picked to win one of these mugs. And if you're watching on YouTube, we're going to announce it live at the end of the show because YouTube doesn't work like the other ones, and I can't contact you after the show is over. I do want to mention a couple of the comments I saw. First of all, speaking of mugs, Bong42 over on Twitch, great name. You asked if there's a list to get notified for our new mug releases. There is. Join our mailing list. Join the scoop. It is at, go on over to deathwishcoffee.com, scroll all the way to the bottom, give us your email, and you'll get emails detailing when our new releases are coming out all the time. You're already doing one of it. You're watching the show. That's the best way to find out about new mugs.
Agreed.
And if you live in the continental U.S., you can text MUGS, M-U-G-S, to 484848, and you will get a text message when the mugs are released, unless we forget. Sorry about last time.
That was our bad.
That was our bad. Also, let's see, over on Twitch, Jess415, you said that NASA's going to hate you when you literally hit them up with every question you've ever wanted to ask them with the hashtag #AskNASA. Do it. And tag Deathwish Coffee, too, because we want to see all the questions you guys are asking as well. Seriously, hit up NASA with hashtag #AskNASA.
Jeff does it all the time.
I do, and it would be great to get one of your questions up there. That'd be really rad. It was really cool to hear from Serena. Over on YouTube, Charlene Gibson, you made a comment that I had to comment on. You said you'd go to space with Brad Pitt. I think I would, too. Would you go to space with Brad Pitt? If Brad Pitt came to your door tomorrow and was like, you need to come to space with me.
Sounds a little threatening, but sure.
You need to come to space with me. Also, let's see. Umber Tutamba, you asked. I love when you guys are looking at the shelf behind me, especially during that science segment when you can see the shelf in its full glory. And you asked about the NES cartridge that's back here, and you good eye for that. It's not an NES cartridge. I'll show you. This was a special thing that was put out with the box set from one of my favorite bands ever, Gunship, and it's a flask. Yep. It's a terrible flask because when you put liquor in here and then try to drink it, it's like the worst. I did it once, and it was just the worst. So it looks better on the shelf. Finally, over on Facebook, Matthew Good.
Comment of the hour.
You, first of all, called us Tyrannosaurus Jeff and MOC, and we're gonna write a rap album now, 100%. Like, we have to, right? We have to.
Who wants to hear us rap?
Nobody. Oh, my God. But you also asked if a new science segment could be, how do they brew coffee in space? Go back over to some of our earlier episodes of Fueled by Deathcast, which you can find on iTunes, Spotify, or in full video on YouTube. And I talked to astronauts about that exact thing. In fact, the normal way that they drink coffee in space is right here. This is the type of drink bag that they have up on the International Space Station. This was the Deathwish coffee that we actually sent to the International Space Station last year, and the astronauts got to enjoy out of a bag just like this. But also on Fueled by Deathcast, I talked to astronaut Don Pettit, who invented this, which is a 0G cup. And because of the way that it is formed, you can actually use this to drink liquid in microgravity and zero gravity. And that's pretty incredible, too.
Yeah. If you want to learn about all of this stuff that we've done with Deathwish and space, easiest way to find this stuff is deathwishcoffee.com/space.
Yeah.
Podcast episodes, blogs, and more.
Yep. Now that I've been taking stuff off the shelf, I've been seeing all these comments over on YouTube. I saw a comment asking about the Darth Vader up there. That was just a cool little framed Darth Vader thing that somebody gave me because they know I love Star Wars. And somebody asked if that's a Purple Rain guitar behind me. That is a Wild Audio guitar given to us by Zach Wild. We're going to be talking about Zach Wild a little bit later in the show as well because we have the amazing Barbara Ann as a guest on the podcast tomorrow. But speaking of this show, one of the things I love doing on this show is the Death Star of the Week. And if any of you watching out there would like to be a Death Star of the Week, all you got to do is hit up Fueled by Deathcast, at Fueled by Deathcast on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, and say, I want to be a Death Star, and we'll figure out a date and time to do that. It takes about 10 minutes to record in video, and it's really easy, and you get a mug out of it, too. And I love doing this every week because I get to feature somebody who has the same love for Deathwish Coffee as we all do. And this week's no different. So if you've never met Robert Enna, you're going to meet him right now.
Good, good. It is a fully operational Death Star of the Week.
Robert, thank you so much for joining me on the Death Star segment. And I'm going to start like I always do. I want to know, how did you hear about Deathwish Coffee? Either the coffee or the company? Do you remember what year it was?
Being Canadian, we don't have all the advertising. I think we heard about it. I'd seen the commercial, well, the now infamous commercial for Super Bowl, or during the Super Bowl. And for our anniversary that year in 2016, we were down in Lake George, Albany area. We went to Saratoga, and we went to the coffee shop in Saratoga. and we're discussing the coffee, and they said, "Oh yeah, it's in Round Lake," which is the old factory.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided, since we had a couple of days, I actually went down to the old factory and met Michael and a bunch of other people when it was basically, I think it was 5 people working there, and the shop was the coffee roasting was right next door.
Yep.
And that's how it started. Being Canadian, we don't have a lot of stuff, so started off there, got a bunch of swag, brought it back, and I think it was 2 years ago, finally decided to do the subscription. I got a PO box in the States so I can have it shipped there and go and pick it up. And the postmaster there hates me every time I drop by because it smells like really good coffee. So I introduced like probably half a dozen people that were there when I opened the boxes and everything else to Death Wish. So they didn't realize it was actually New York based.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. That's so cool. Before you found the coffee in the company, were you a big coffee drinker?
Always been. My motto is, if you offer me coffee and it's instant, I'd rather drink water.
All right. All right.
So, yeah, always been a huge coffee drinker. I used to get, Costco had a fair trade Sumatra and that was my go-to, which I now have I think it's a kilo downstairs that's been there for a while now. I keep it in case of dire emergency when I run out of Death Wish, but I think it's been there now for 2 years and it's sealed and I haven't touched it.
Oh, that's good though, just in case.
Yeah, and just in case. And I was a huge drinker. I went to Jamaica for our honeymoon, amongst other things, and I brought back, I think, 3 kilos of Blue Mountain coffee.
Oh yeah.
Although they do medium roast, which is like,
hey, it's some good coffee down there,
yeah,
for sure.
I've been going to Jamaica since the early 80s, and every time I go, I bring back like a kilo or 2 of Blue Mountain coffee. So I've always been a coffee snob.
That's excellent. So what is your go-to brewing method?
Normally cone filter.
Nice.
Because I get up in the morning and I need something rather quickly already made so that I can deal with the 8 to 10 foster dogs that are here. But during the day, I actually have an AeroPress. I have a French press. I think I have something like 8 different types of coffee makers.
I love it.
Plus grinders, plus, yeah.
I love it. So you just mentioned it. I know we help caffeinate you for what you do, and that's helping rescue dogs, right?
Yeah, I'm actually, I used to be an actor, both for French and English. I'm fluently bilingual. Migrated from that to becoming a talent agent, and then 5 years ago I had a fairly serious accident which kept me from working, and I transitioned. I've always been taking care of dogs. I've always been a behaviorist, but that started taking the control of my life because the dogs didn't care if I couldn't move in the morning. They needed to go out. So it was a way to get myself moving. Went from doing extreme sports to a wheelchair for 8 months.
Oh my gosh.
So the dogs kind of kept my morale up. And now I do rescue. So I'm a behaviorist. I specialize in wiener dogs, amongst others. So I've sent dogs from southern Ontario to eastern Quebec, probably 2 full provinces plus northern New York to work with them and get them rehabilitated, then get them adopted.
That's
so
awesome.
Right now we have 4 dogs of our own, and we have 8 fosters here.
Oh my goodness.
So the city, I won't say that too loud because the city's not really crazy about having more than 3 dogs. But hey, if I had St. Bernards, 3 dogs, these guys all stacked together don't weigh as much as the St. Bernard.
That is true. That's really great. It's really inspiring to hear. Normally I would ask the question, the other side of us at Death Wish, we not only like the cup of coffee that we make, but the cup that we put it in, the mugs. And I ask, always, if you're a mug collector. I see them behind you. I see them, you drinking out of them. So you are collecting the mugs. Do you remember the first mug you got from Death Wish Coffee?
The 2016.
Nice.
When we were there, when I met Mike and everybody else, we happened to be there and it had just come out. So we grabbed it while we were there. And I have to say, it's my second 2016 mug. It is how I met a lot of the nice people on the Facebook community, because one of the Fosters actually knocked my mug off a stool and it shattered. And somebody was nice enough to send me another one, send me a replacement.
That's so cool.
So, and with Dale and everybody else, or Gail, sorry, I'm actually stacking a lot of the swag right now so I can send her a box.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a little bit more complicated because we have to bring it down there to mail it.
Yep.
But for Operation, I can't quite remember what it's called. The one where she sends all the stuff to
Operation Sandbox.
Sandbox, thank you.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I served in the Canadian Forces, so.
Oh, excellent. So then on the other side of the mugs, do you have a favorite mug in your collection?
I have a favorite, or let's say, I have one that I use the most, which technically isn't a Death Wish mug.
That's fine. That's totally fine.
This.
Nice.
I never got the Death Wish travel mug because I had this one, which works really good, which we won't say is steep tea.
That's okay. It's a good product.
And I just made it a Death Wish mug, so it has my
that's excellent
pictures and everything on it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that's my go-to mug. I use that one pretty much every day, and I started doing that after the dog basically broke my other one. So that one they can't break.
Good call.
But yeah, my favorite one so far, I had never had a diner mug, and ever since I got the Society mug, I actually like the shape of it. It holds really well in your hand. So I've been using that one inside like pretty much every day. And whenever I have to deal with the dogs, I deal with my thermos.
Yeah, that's smart. That's smart. That's good though. So the question I get to on the show every single week, you've been a fan of the company now and seen what we've done since 2016. You've actually been to HQ. You've seen all the different things that we've come out with. Is there anything we haven't tried that you'd like to see us try?
Well, yes. Something like a Hawaiian shirt would be really cool.
Yup, I love it.
All the different logos and everything else on it, just printed all over it. That would be kind of cool, especially if it's either cotton or something that breathes, so you can wear it during the summer. And but the other request would be, when you make stuff, make it for Sasquatch size. There's a lot of the stuff that came in this summer that I went, yeah, that's nice, except if I get the float, it only covers like part of my body. I'm 6'2".
Oh wow, you're a big guy.
Yeah, so most of the stuff that you produce, like the towels, I have the original beach towel, but I was looking at the coffin one this summer and I went, I can't justify getting a towel that doesn't even come up to my neck.
That's true. It's true.
So stuff like that would be nice if it was in larger sizes. And I know that a lot of people were commenting on that. Shorter people can use it, but larger people can't. Shorter people can use something that's larger or taller people can't use something that's too short.
You're right. And we're working on that all the time. We're always coming up with new ideas for merchandise, and we try to do with the most amount of sizes and shapes that we possibly can. And sometimes, depending on the third party that we're working with, they just don't have the ability to do that. But we're always looking to do that. And I can tell you that we have some really exciting releases coming out at the end of the year that I can't talk about yet, but will be in big sizes. So I'm very excited about some of those.
Like a snow gear, what's it called? Canada geese.
Parka? Like a parka?
That'd be cool.
No,
that'd be expensive.
That would be expensive. We don't have one of those yet, but that doesn't mean in the future.
By the way, why isn't there a strap on the guitar in back of you?
Because Zach took it with him. When Zach Wild was playing, he came with Zach Sabbath. Played the guitar and then gave it to Mike, signed the headstock at the end of the show, and it was the guitar he played on stage, so that was awesome of him. But the guitar he plays on stage, he also has his strap, and he doesn't want to give away his strap either, so he took his strap with him.
Oh, okay. So
that's
we'll have to remedy that.
Yeah. Robert, I can't thank you enough for taking time and talking with me on the segment.
You're very welcome.
It's always great to meet everybody from the incredible community we have here at Death Wish Coffee.
And here, I have somebody who wants to say hello because he's been bugging me the whole time.
Okay.
Hi, Bart.
What's his name?
Bart.
Bart?
He's like one of our standards. He's one of the Fosters.
Oh, he's adorable. Well, thank you
Thank you for
again.
having me.
Dog.
It was really great talking with Robert about all that kind of stuff. He also did mention the Poe mug, which was our Halloween mug last year, was it?
Yeah.
You got it in front of you right there. Speaking of mugs, I just want to say one final time as I get them out of the way. You all have a chance to win a mug. As you can see, this mug for Twitch, that mug for YouTube, that mug for Facebook. We're going to announce the YouTube winner live at the very end of the show tonight because we cannot contact you before after the fact. But over on Facebook and on Twitch, we will contact you as soon as we sign off, and you guys will be able to find out who the winner is there.
Yeah.
I did want to mention, I saw a couple comments on all the platforms when Robert was talking about the Super Bowl commercial. Some people did not know that we had a commercial of the Super Bowl. We were the smallest business ever to win a Super Bowl commercial. We beat out 15,000 small businesses in 2015, and we had a Super Bowl commercial in Super Bowl 50. We're very proud of it, and it's still up on YouTube today. All you got to do is type in Death Wish Coffee Super Bowl commercial, and it'll come right up. It's a bunch of Vikings. It's great. We love it. I do want to take a second and tell you guys, before we get into this week's podcast, I want to tell you guys that I was a guest on a podcast. I never get to be a guest on a podcast, and it was really cool. It's called The Irish Whip, WHIP.
Whip.
The Irish Whip podcast. It's 3 Irish guys, and they predominantly talk about wrestling, but they talk about all sorts of different stuff. And I met them a while back, and they invited me on the show. We talked about coffee. We talked about wrestling. They made fun of me for an hour. It was great. It's a lot of fun. You can find their podcast wherever podcasts are found and listen to me be a guest, which is kind of neat. But before we finish the show tonight with some really cool reveals, I'm going to get rid of these mugs right now. We've got a sneak peek of tomorrow's podcast. Now, tomorrow's podcast is one of my favorites ever. Barbara Ann Wilde came to the East Coast and came into the studio and did an episode with me, and it was amazing. I've gotten the incredible opportunity to interview Zach Wilde twice on Fueled by Deathcash. You can go back and check out both of those episodes, one from season 1 and one from season 2. Yeah, season 2. Episode 100 was the second time. And that was really cool, but, I mean, Barbara Ann is such a badass. She is a mother of incredible children with Zach. She's been, in one way or another, his manager since the beginning of his career, and she's had her own stint in music business, working for a ton of different acts and doing a ton of different things in the music business. And both her and Zach do so many amazing things with St. Jude Children's Research Hospital as well. And they've gotten us involved in that. And that's why she was here. She came up for a gala that was being held for a benefit for St. Jude and actually brought a guitar that was signed by Zach and Ozzy Osbourne that was raffled off for a bunch of money for St. Jude, which was absolutely incredible.
So amazing to watch people been on that live.
Right. It was really, really cool. So I'm really excited for you guys to check out the full interview with Barbara Ann tomorrow. It'll be wherever podcasts are found, but I have a very special sneak peek of that interview right. Oh, I don't. You know what? I'm going to talk about your experience with Barbara Ann when she was here as I cue that up.
He cues this up. So like Jeff said, the reason for Barbara Ann's visit was not only to see our new office and to meet with Mike and with John Swedish and some other members of the company, but was to go to the St. Jude Gala. So if you're newer to the company, we have been a part of fundraising for St. Jude for the past few years, whether that's, through mugs that you guys buy and that we get to donate the money. So thank you guys so much for buying those, or through events and other fundraisers throughout the year. So this gala was pretty much one of their biggest events that they do throughout the year. So we thought, why not have Barbara Ann, who cares so much about St. Jude, come and go with us to this event to help us raise money. And it was an amazing experience. A lot of members of the team donated their own money too to go toward, chemo treatments, transportation to and from the hospital. So many little things that add up so much for families who are going through, the unthinkable with having a kid who has cancer.
Yeah, it really was great. And so we talk about that. We talk about how Death Wish Coffee and the Wilde family kind of became its own family, and we work so closely together to make Valhalla Java Odin Force blend now, which is really great.
Yeah.
And so many other cool things. But this special sneak peek of tomorrow's episode is a lot about how Barbara Ann has been a part of Zach's career for a while, and how that has also involved Ozzy and Sharon as well. And here's that.
Hi, this is Mike Brown, owner of Death Wish Coffee Company. Welcome to Fueled by Deathcast.
I love Java, sweet and high.
Death Wish Coffee presents Fueled by Deathcast, the world's strongest podcast. Get ready, the show's about to begin.
Did you always kind of have a hand managing Zach, like right from the beginning?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really so good at tooting my own horn, but honestly, yeah. I mean, he had a manager for a lot of years, and literally the manager would call me and throw something by me and say, "What do you want to do, young lady?" So, like, I kind of made all the decisions anyway. And when Blasco came into the fold, you know, we started talking, and he's really phenomenal at marketing. That's his, you know, that's his passion, and he's great at it. And you know, he knew a lot more about the social media world and where things were going with e-commerce and stuff, much more than Zach and I. I knew a little bit from my kids, but my background originally. I'm a business girl. I went to school. I was going to be a CPA until I realized that I was going to have to wear a suit every day and be in a business setting, and I was just like too conservative for me. And I have a mouth of a sailor, so I couldn't exactly I'm not so good being in that world. But I'm a Jersey girl.
Yeah.
I don't usually admit that, but I am a Jersey girl.
Hey.
But I definitely, when I moved to California, I had said to Sharon Osbourne, I really want to work in the music industry. I had part-time, the guy who discovered Zach for Ozzy, Mark Weiss, he's a photographer. I worked for him once a week when I lived in Jersey when I was still a teenager, and I got bit by that bug. I was around these crazy musicians in this world, and I'm like, these people don't have any idea what they're doing in business. I have a business brain. These people and I get on. I think I could lend something to the party, and they, I love to be around it. So when I moved to California, I had said to Sharon, I really want to work in the music industry, and she gave me a list of people to meet, and I got my first gig at A&M Records at the time. Was like I was so spoiled because it was the most incredible environment to be introduced into the music industry. It was such a fabulous time with Herb Alpert and Jerry Moss, great men to work for, and that was very much like a family situation, even though it was on a global scale. I worked for the CFO, and then I worked for him for a little bit, and then when A&M Records sold to BMG, I went over and worked at William Morris Agency on the booking side of things. I was a tour coordinator. And then after that, I went to go work for Rod Stewart at Cecil Phillips and did the management side for a little bit. And then Zach and I had babies, and Sharon was shopping Zach's solo deal as a solo artist. And then I kind of jumped in, and I took the meetings, and we, made our first record deal with Geffen Records. And so, yeah, I've always been, for all intents and purposes, I have always managed him. I didn't want to be that person by myself because it was much more important to me to be Zach's lover and be passionate and be his partner in life than business partner. But then it evolved, and Blasco is his manager, and he does, but yeah, it's the both of us together, and we have a great relationship because, Blasco will say, I say no, you say yes. And most of the time he'll bring things to the table that I don't think of, and I bring things to the table I think that he doesn't think of, and we have a really great partnership.
Yeah, and you're so just badass. I'm just going to say it, when it comes to all of that. And you had, like you said, not only were you lucky in some of your early jobs, you were lucky to be able to have a soundboard like Sharon, who, has done this,
in every
6 ways to
capacity.
Sunday. Yeah,
in every capacity. I mean, let's face it, the Ozfest happened because, she's a pioneer.
Yeah.
And she's, it's her whole life. Since she was a little girl, she was involved in the music industry. And I love them and her so much. I mean, for all intents and purposes, Zach calls her mom because his mom passed away a couple years after he joined Ozzy's band. And for all intents and purposes, she is his mom.
Aww.
And she'll even say a lot of times, "It's my firstborn," about Zach. But she's been known to call him in a bar when he was drinking and say, "Get your ass out of that bar," pull him out of a club or a bar by his ear. I mean, he listens to her.
Yeah.
She's mom,
Oh, yeah.
And but I love her so much. She always says, "I'm a second mom to you," and I was like, "No, you're more like a big, beautiful older sister because you're not. You're too young to be my mom." But she's, I mean, personally, professionally, and there isn't a business deal or something really important to us that I don't run by her. I mean, and personally, our daughter's getting married in October, our firstborn, and there isn't a night that I'm like not sending her pictures of the wedding dress, or she's like, this is where we're having it, or I talk to her most, a couple times a day, mostly, and they're family to us.
Well, again, it goes back to that theme of passion, I mean, and if I can parallel you and Sharon together in your roles, you both are passionate about what you do, about having hands-on, not just being, I'm in a manager position and I'm just going to sign the contract and make the phone call and whatever. You're very hands-on about it. It's so incredible, that entire episode, just her talking about her career, her family, and her passion, and Zach's passion for everything that they do. That'll be available everywhere podcasts are found tomorrow: iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Music, wherever you listen to podcasts, or you can watch it in full video right on the Death Wish Coffee Company YouTube page.
Heck yeah.
One of my favorite moments is I asked Barbara Ann, because I had heard that her and Zach were high school sweethearts. And she set the record straight and said they actually went on their first date in 8th grade. And
insane.
She told me that story. And that's on the episode. So if you guys want to hear about Zach and Barbara Ann's first date in 8th grade, you can hear it tomorrow on that podcast.
That's insane.
So I'm really, really excited. And Barbara Ann, I'm so happy to have really met her. I met her very briefly.
She's an amazing woman.
I met her briefly when I went out to their house to record with Zach for the 100th episode. But she was dealing with the kids and bringing in groceries and everything, so it was just like a very much in passing. But I got to spend almost an entire day and a half with her, and it was just absolutely amazing. So can't wait for you guys to hear all of that. Now, you guys have been watching the show all night. We're probably done, right? Are we done? Yeah, we're
bye.
done. Nah, we're just kidding. We have some really, really exciting stuff. And a brand new feature that I hope works. Everybody cross your fingers that this is going to work. So first of all, we have a brand new product to talk about. And before I even get into the product, I want to kind of give a little bit of a reason behind it. Last year, if you don't know, we were lucky enough to have the opportunity to send our coffee to space and fuel the astronauts in the International Space Station. If you tuned in earlier in the show, you got to meet one of those astronauts, Serena Onion Chancellor. She was part of Expedition 56 and was enjoying Death Wish coffee while she was living on the International Space Station. And we were really excited to do that, but we had to develop a specific type of coffee to do that. And if you missed all of that, here's a little video, really quick video recap if you never saw this. Oh, not that. This. This was so exciting. Right. Now, unfortunately, you can't win that coffee anymore.
That was an old contest.
That was an
people.
old piece of content.
Don't enter that.
But you can go to deathwishcoffee.com/space and read and see all of the amazing stuff that we've done in space and working with NASA and the different astronauts we've talked to and sending our coffee to space. Well, when we did send our coffee to space and develop that freeze-dried instant version of that coffee, we realized that's the best way ever to launch a product, right?
Yeah.
So we went...
Literally launch.
So we went to work researching and developing a way to make the best instant coffee we possibly could. And we know that a lot of people out there are probably thinking, I would never drink instant coffee. And you're right. You don't have to. We have beans. We have ground. We have K-Cups. We have cold brew.
Yeah.
We have all different ways to drink coffee. But there is a big, demand market for a lot of the Asian coffee drinking world is instant. And then, the people who are on the road all the time, the truckers, the rock stars, the campers, they want that instant coffee. So for the first time ever, here it is. Now, everybody cross your fingers for mug vision. See if this works. Ha-ha!
Hey!
It does. All right. So here's our instant coffee. This is the box that it's going to come in. Looks really nice. Actually, got our little space stuff right on the side there. This is the first time I've ever done this, so I'm trying to manipulate this as we do this. But yeah, each of these boxes will contain 8 single-serve things, and I think I got them in here.
These little guys. Here you go.
Look at that. Instant coffee, everybody.
Each one of these packets contains about 5 grams of instant coffee, which if you look at other instant coffees, so if you're familiar with them, pretty much double what you find in a normal instant coffee package. So a lot of research went into this. 300 milligrams of caffeine. Our TV went out.
Oh, no. Well, we're still working.
Yeah. But 300 milligrams of caffeine in this little guy.
It's pretty awesome. So we're going to brew some up right now just to show you. This will be available soon. We do not have a release date for this yet.
You could just tear it. You can hear us.
Everything's breaking. I'm trying to add extra camera angles and everything else.
It smells really good.
It really does. Here, let's see if I can go back to that angle. All right.
Oh, Jesus.
Can I do this? Can we see it? Hey, there you go. You see it? Really nice and fine.
Super easy to make this coffee. All you do is add hot water or milk, which we have ready. Are you ready, Jeff?
I'm ready. All right, I'll go back to the
packaging
wide.
calls for about 8 ounces of water.
Yep. Now, a lot of instant coffee, especially single serve, you're going to get only a couple grams. Ours is 4.9 grams of coffee and 300 milligrams of caffeine. So this is the way to do it. And all you do, like we said, is add milk or water, depending on how you want to do it, and 8 ounces of coffee. Give it a little stir.
With your knife. Can you
Yeah, why not? And there you have it. That's instant coffee. Cheers.
Cheers. It's hot. You taking a sip? Is it too hot?
Oh, man. It's very hot, and it's very caffeinated, and I'm not going to sleep. So right off the rip, we're only going to do this in Death Wish variety.
Oh, damn, that's good.
I'm hoping that down the road, it will be Valhalla Java. But as you can see, there it is again. I like this little Muggo-vision right here.
Hot.
It's kind of nice. But yeah, we're really, really excited. This is coming out very soon. And if you guys want to go over to Blam right there, deathwishcoffee.com/instant, you can read more about our release, keep updated as to when it actually gets released, and we're going to start a contest
That's
right
live.
meow. And you guys can enter every single day, and we're going to be giving away instant coffee every single week for the next handful of weeks. So you'll be able to win this before you can even buy it. Yep. How great is that?
Pretty great.
It's pretty great. So a whole box of these for 8 of them. It's going to be great. We can't wait to release it on the world. Over on YouTube, Tanya, yes, I did wipe my knife dry on my pants. That's how that works.
I witnessed it.
Anyway, we're really, really excited about this, and I just can't wait for it. I really can't. So I know that it's not everybody's cup of tea. Joke. But like we said, there is a market for it, and I'm a big proponent of if you do something, no corner of the world should be safe from what you do, no matter what it is. Like if you are in marketing or in internet, social media or something like that, you shouldn't look at a single platform and be like, I don't like Facebook. I don't ever want to be on that. Like no corner of the internet should ever be safe for you. Same thing goes with coffee. I think that with Death Wish, I think we should explore doing every version of coffee imaginable, even ones that aren't imaginable yet. Stuff that hasn't even been invented. But yeah, here's our instant coffee. We're really, really excited about it. And that'll be coming out very soon. And it's been a labor of love, really, ever since we launched it into space. It's been like, how do we make this? Because the thing is, and you guys probably know this, with instant coffee, you immediately lose taste and caffeine. And those are the two things we pride ourselves on. We pride ourselves on a good cup of coffee and a very highly caffeinated cup of coffee. So we did a lot of research and development to make something as close to brewing your own cup of coffee, grinding your beans and brewing that cup of coffee, into an instant version. It was a lot easier to do it as a freeze-dried version. I'll tell you that, because with NASA Food Labs, they basically took our coffee and made an instant version and freeze-dried it in their own scientific processes and made it space-ready. So, I mean, like, that's a super much easier way to have NASA do it, but we can't have NASA mass-produce our coffee for us.
Not.
Maybe we could. No, we can't. We can't.
So you have the chance to drink the same coffee as astronauts.
As astronauts.
As freaking astronauts.
Look, when I was a kid, I used to see all the commercials in the 80s about drinking Tang because Tang was the orange drink that all the astronauts drink, and I begged my mom to get Tang, and she bought Tang, and so marketing works, people. This is the coffee that astronauts drink. Buy this coffee.
Buy it.
Buy it. See, it's even in my NASA mug.
Yay. I think we have something else to show.
Oh, we have a couple things to show you. Tomorrow, we have a really special release coming out tomorrow, and I know I showed it last week, but I'm going to show it again because I'm pretty proud of this. I mean, we got Barbara Ann Wild on the podcast tomorrow. Why wouldn't we release the Valhalla Java Zippo tomorrow? Let's see. Let's go to the mug cam. Womp. There it is. Look at that. Oh, that worked out really well. We're really, really excited about this product. I feel like I'm on QVC here. It's so durable and nice, and there's only 1,000. There really is. Can I do? If there's still fluid in it.
See, now we can give you up close and personal fire.
Man, that's awesome. So, yeah, this is going to be released tomorrow, and really, if you want one, buy one tomorrow. There are only 1,000, and actually, there's less than 1,000, because you know we gave one to Zach. and we gave one to Barbara Ann because they're amazing. So there's probably like 998 of these.
The flame is going down.
Yeah, I've been lighting lots of things on fire in the studio lately.
Someone help me.
But we're really excited. That comes out tomorrow, guys. How cool is that, right?
So cool.
I thought it was so cool when we made a Death Wish coffee Zippo, and now that we've got a Valhalla Java Zippo, it's a match made in heaven.
Right, and it's worth noting, too, that they are numbered.
They are numbered.
So they're collectible, but they do not come with lighter fluid. You have to buy that yourself.
Yeah, they come in a great little Zippo little Zippo box. Wait. I'm going to abuse my power. Kablam. That nice little box. And the box is numbered 2. This one is 127 out of 1,000. This one is Mike Brown's lighter that he loaned to us because he's so nice. But yeah, we're really, really excited about releasing that tomorrow. So tomorrow on the website, usually around 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, that'll be available. And if you want it, get it because it's awesome.
Check your inbox, people, at around 11 tomorrow.
Now we're done, right? We got nothing else to talk about. Now, Shannon's been drinking out of this mug the whole show. This was our incredible... Here, put it here.
Mug Cam, watch yours. Hot fluids.
This is the incredible Halloween mug from last year.
Nevermore. I love this mug so much.
Yeah, this was our Nevermore mug. This was our Edgar Allan Poe inspired mug. We loved doing this mug, and they are not available anymore. So if you got one, awesome. If you didn't, sorry. But in the true spirit of Halloween, we've got another Halloween mug, and this one is incredibly special. So special, in fact, that we created this reveal
just for you.
Just for you guys. You ready? Are you ready?
Okay, just click it.
Are you ready?
Oh my God.
Here we go.
Diary of Dr. Henry Jekyll, October 19th, 1886. In each of us, two natures are at war. The good and the evil. All our lives, the fight goes on between them. One of them must conquer. But in our own hands lies the power to choose what we want to be, what we want most to be. We are.
Man is not truly one, but truly two.
No. Please, God.
How cool is that?
It's double-sided.
I got to shout out again Brock Powell. That was the incredible voice actor Brock Powell playing both Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in there, right there. And this is the first time we've ever done a double-sided mug. So let's go to the mug cam. Wow.
It is Jekyll and Hyde. Designed by
Thomas Dragonetti.
Yeah, Thomas Dragonetti and the amazing artist Janine Pottery.
So there's Dr. Jekyll with Mr. Hyde there in the mirror, and then Mr. Hyde. And what I love about this mug is the glaze tells the story too. So Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is that regal purple, you know, that accents his hat and his coat and all that. And then when he changes, it's monster green, and he's all the monster. So incredible. Thomas knocked this one out of the park. I'm so excited for this. And this is our Halloween mug. So if you guys don't know, this is how mug releases happen. Very, very soon, there will be a golden ticket version of this mug, which will be a
Which is
different
also
glaze.
Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, and when that happens, every order placed will have a chance to win one of maybe 20 of those. And that signifies that in a couple weeks, this actual mug will be released. So you have a few weeks before this is going to be released. I can promise you that we're going to release this in time that you'll be able to buy this mug and have it to be able to drink out of on Halloween.
Heck yeah.
Yes. So we're really, really excited about it. It's the first time we've ever done a double medallion. I don't even know if Danine's ever done a double medallion.
I don't think they have. I think Thomas said it's the first time.
Yeah. We're really, really, really excited about that. Let's go back to the mug. Wow. Look at that. God, it's amazing. That guy. It's hard to manipulate this and look at the monitor at the same time. I'll get better at this, guys. You guys are all on the side of the first time we've ever done the mug cam, and I hope you dig it because I'm kind of liking this whole mug cam thing. But yeah, it's really trying to. There we go.
Look at that.
God, it's amazing. It is so cool. We're so excited about that. So excited about everything that we're doing here. Again, I got to thank Brock Powell for helping me make that video. I shot that video on my bookshelf at home, and all the music I made with my violin and my piano, and Brock did all the voices, and I thought it turned out pretty rad.
And if you want a closer look at this mug, go to deathwishcoffee.com/Halloween.
Boom! Yeah, so we're going to do all sorts of fun stuff with the Halloween mug. And you know what? Maybe on next week's show, we might show the golden ticket.
There you go.
Oh, so you're going to definitely want to tune into that.
Gonna have to do it solo, though. Sorry, Jeff.
It's true. You're going to be in Ireland.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty great. Definitely don't forget to tune into the podcast, available everywhere tomorrow. The audio podcast hits around 6 a.m. The video hits around 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everywhere podcasts are found, iTunes, Spotify, and in full video on YouTube. That's the incredible interview with Barbara Ann Wilde. And thank you guys all so much for watching the show this week. Over on Facebook, over on Twitch. I will be announcing winners on both of those platforms as soon as we sign off. Facebook like normal, Twitch in those comments, and also I will direct message you if you won, so be on the lookout for that. Over on YouTube, because I cannot direct message you, the winner tonight at random, which we chose during the Barbara Ann segment, is Charles King. Congratulations to Charles King. Charles, if you can hit up Hey, that is HEY, at deathwishcoffee.com and give us your name and address, we will send out that diner mug to you as the winner. Both winners on the Facebook and Twitch will be announced shortly after we sign off. Thank you guys so much for watching the show, checking out the new mug, the instant coffee, and
heck yeah,
our brand new mug cam. And we will be back next week with more fun. Well, I'll be back next week. You're going to be in frickin' Ireland.
Bye.
Bye.